Good evening, everybody out there in YouTube land. This is your host, the T-shirted historian, coming at you live from the Week in Geek. Our dear friend Gary is not going to be available tonight, unfortunately. Well, sorry. But I promise you I do have another round of really awesome guests to put on tonight. So without further ado, let me put on our other great guy here. We got Mr. Grimm.
Evening.
Evening. All right. It's good to see you. We have Mr. Geek Time TV, Keith.
Howdy, howdy. Grew it on that music t-shirt.
Oh, you like that?
Yeah, I did.
All right. Yeah, it's Faderhead. He is really awesome. We'll talk more about him in a second when I get everybody else on. We have, of course, Mr. Ash, who finally showed up. Hey, how's it going, Mr. Ash?
Hello. Hey, everyone. I'm glad I got here just in time. Thought I was going to be late. My internet went out for a bit. So,
oh, man.
Yeah.
We are glad you made it. And one of our special guests this week is the lovely Purple Valkyrie.
Good evening, all. Thank you for having me.
Oh, hey, it's my pleasure to have you. All right. Well, we got like the British invasion going on. It's like I have more Brits on the show every week. Really
We're
awesome.
just that awesome.
Yes, absolutely. You guys added like a touch of class to all my shows.
Yeah, we're like rabbits or bacteria. We just keep multiplying.
There you go. Well, we'll just have an entirely British panel, be 9 British people talking, and I'll just be standing back there going, oh. It'll happen one day. You watch. All right. Well, anybody have anything cool happen this week?
Not really.
No, personally, it's been kind of a quiet week. Obviously, lots of news, but no, it's been kind of chill.
We did have the real Star Wars Day on Tuesday or Wednesday. I forgot which day.
It's Tuesday. Yeah.
That's right. All the real Star Wars fans know it was the May 25th. Golly, man, I was 4 years old when that film came out, and I still remember seeing it up at the drive-in in Kansas.
I was 8, and I saw it 3 times in the theater that year.
Wow.
Yeah. My parents hated me. I was like, I want to go see it again. They didn't want it. They didn't like it, so they just sit through it a couple times.
Well, we used to watch at the drive-in, and the cool thing was every once in a while, the folks would go out and they'd want to watch a different movie, but of course Star Wars was screening on the opposite. So we just, the kids would all just sit in the back and we'd watch the Star Wars, from the back of the truck, and they'd watch their film, and we would just sit there and kind of like lip sync along with it. And, because we'd already seen it about 5 or 6 times, so we already knew all the damn lines. We were just watching it for all the cool.
Right.
I would have loved to have seen it when it first released.
Yeah, same.
It was something.
I was minus 22 when that film came out.
I was too young for Star Wars, but I remember seeing Empire in the cinema.
Oh man,
I
hated Empire.
Leaving that movie, I was like, "What the hell did I just look at?"
I know, man. It's like when Empire came out, I was a little older, obviously, because the film came out a little bit later. But I was so stunned by that film. I hated it so much because my little kid brain was like, "No, this is terrible. Han's frozen in kryptonite, and they were torturing Chewie, and C-3PO's in pieces, and Luke got his hand cut off." And
Yep. But then I was convinced that Vader was playing him, though. I didn't think he was really his father. I thought he was just doing that to mess with him.
Oh no, I was absolutely convinced that he was the real deal. But that's kind of funny. Is as I got a little bit older and went back and looked at that film, and I realized that's why that film is the best one, because you really cared about those characters.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
It's
the classic
Ironcaster
where you put them in the tree and throw rocks at them.
Oh, sorry. All right. Well, let's take a look at our chat really quick. We've got Mr. Kylock. How are you doing, sir? And then we've got Terry. Hello. Good to see you again. We have Ironcaster. I may pull you into the stream a little bit later. I don't know. We'll see. But all right. We had a ton of news happen this week, man. So much stuff happened. So let me see about jumping in there and making some of it making some sense out of some of this stuff. I don't have a really good graphic for one of our big stories, but probably the biggest one this week is that Amazon bought MGM for $8.45 billion, and they've already announced plans to reimagine the IP, which includes RoboCop, Stargate, James Bond, and Rocky, and I guess by extension Creed. Which I like the Creed movies. Okay,
I do too.
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed them.
all right. So I don't know how to feel about this. I haven't really seen anything on Amazon that was bad so far. Although all the upcoming talk about the new Lord of the Rings series seems pretty negative.
Yes, it does seem to be heading that way. Everyone that's kind of dug into the casting, everyone that's dug into the direction that they're taking the show, it does seem to be going down the woke route. So people are bracing themselves for that. But I think with this Amazon buying MGM, it just proves that Amazon have too much damn money.
too much damn money. But when you look at it, they actually got MGM for a song, because you look at what like AT&T paid for Warner was like 80 something billion.
Yeah.
And then Discovery paid like 40 something billion for the same property just a couple weeks ago. So MGM was like clearly on the downside. They basically only had James Bond and Creed to market now, and I think Amazon stole this. They stole it.
Well, it's just because Bezos wants the Apprentice tapes, though, isn't it?
Yeah. You think so?
That's what a lot of people seem to think.
Yeah.
If he's got enough fuck you money, I don't see why not. And the other stuff's just a bonus, I guess. But reworking IPs, that's all anyone seems to do anymore. And
yeah, I'm with you, Grim. That was my initial reaction to it. It's like, rather than develop original content, like say what Netflix is doing, all these big corporations are now scrambling to just buy existing IP and reimagine it for a contemporary audience, and just
it's like, I don't think Henry Cavill will be a terrible Highlander. I just don't see that there was a need
correct
for a new Highlander film. Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
I put forward the argument that after the first Highlander, there wasn't any need for any more Highlanders.
Agreed.
It's true. It was nicely self-contained and simple and worked. So,
but looking at some of the IPs that they've got, it does seem that most of them have kind of run their course anyway. I mean, RoboCop, Rocky has kind of come to its end. Poltergeist. They've got obviously James Bond, and James Bond, as the films have been steadily, at least in my opinion, going downhill for some time.
Yeah, they kind of got away from the espionage and made it the Jason Bourne movie instead.
Absolutely.
Impossible. But yeah, you think of Rocky, like, what will Rocky be without Stallone? It'll be absolutely garbage. I mean, it's the reason Rocky works is because Stallone embodies that character, and I could sleep.
I could kind of see them reimagining it, reinvigorating it with like an MMA story, because I'm really not sure how popular boxing is compared to MMA now.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but I think the character, the Rocky Balboa himself, and what Stallone brings to the table will never be duplicated. It won't. I think you're going to lose there with no matter who you put in that role.
I'd agree with that. I mean, look what happened when they continued the Terminator franchise and took Schwarzenegger out as the Terminator.
Right. Yeah, and RoboCop, they already tried to reboot that a couple of years ago. It was a disaster. So, I mean...
I saw it in the theater, man. Oh.
Really? Was it $5 Tuesday?
No, and the worst thing is, this is what really embarrasses me. We actually had to drive to Dallas, and we saw it in the IMAX. So, yeah, I paid a heavy price to watch that. Yeah. So, Yeah,
So you
I got to
don't
see.
really appreciate how terrible it is until you watch it in the original Klingon. So.
Well, just to we watched John Carter on the IMAX too. So
Hey,
Can we-
I liked John Carter.
I like.
I
John
did
Carter.
too. Actually, I did too.
That's an
They
underrated.
could have
Got
done
a
more with that.
fundraiser for t-shirts just to help him get over these bad movies. Like a GoFundMe or something for him.
PTSD from bad RoboCop sequels. Yeah.
Don't tell me, Ash. Don't tell me you like the RoboCop sequel.
What the reboot?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I loved it.
What? Really?
You're gonna have to let's see. When it comes to me, if it's a newer thing like a remake or something, there's a high chance I will probably like it because it will be more around my film generation of me going to the cinema or like current day media for me to enjoy. And then I just wanted to speak on the Rocky thing. I think if they do like a reimagining of the Rocky character, I think it would be good for a new audience to come in. And also, boxing has sort of had like a reimagining in terms of the sport. It was essentially like it was winding down in terms of popularity, and then when the big YouTubers started doing their boxing bouts, it brought so many more eyes to the sport. I personally, I'm not a sports person, no matter what it is, American football, British football, boxing, MMA, whatever, but I have seen a few interviews of some pro boxers that said before these YouTubers started doing their boxing bouts, yes, they're just YouTubers, yes, they're amateurs, and they don't have fully fleshed out boxing careers. They're bringing more eyes to the sport. So I'd say if there was, let's say, a brand new Creed film, I think more people would be interested in watching it because so many more youngsters are watching their favorite YouTube creators jumping into the ring. I mean, we're going to have towards the end of this year Eddie Hall and Hathor Bjornsson, two of the world's strongest men in what I would personally call a Titan class match, and they're just going to duke it out. The two strongest men on the planet are going to duke it out. Think of the eyes and popularity there would be on the sport of boxing just for that one match. And like YouTubers like KSI and Logan Paul, when they had their boxing bout, they had millions of viewers worldwide just for that second fight because they had an original one where they drew and then the rematch KSI won. So I think boxing has had a reimagining, but like some pros find it a little bit insulting that these YouTubers want to try and consider themselves in their class. But it is an interesting thing. I think a lot of older things are going to get reimagined for the current generation. I would like to see them do more with Stargate. Amazon, like, because now they would have Stargate under MGM. I mean, I love Stargate Atlantis. I never saw the original Stargate IP. But I think if they could do something with modern CGI, a new cast of characters, good writers, and I think they could do a lot. Even with James Bond, like you can tell it's slowly running its course with the writers, the popularity of the character, and things like that. I think if they had the right people behind the projects, they could have like a reimagining of so many different franchises. I mean, like take Ghostbusters for example. That wasn't done well because the right people weren't behind the IP. It's just
well, that's the key. Look at Star Trek. Star Trek disaster. Yeah. But Ash, I listened to this great James Bond podcast called Licensed to Podcast. They're out of Australia, and they've been saying that what they think what should happen going forward after this last James Bond is, they have to recast him anyway, is go back and like redo, do it back in the 60s, like do period pieces and retell maybe some of the early Connery stories again, which might be a way. kind of reinvigorate it.
Some of the Bond films wildly verge away from the books.
Right.
So if you went back and redid them, you could do them more faithfully to the books.
And that's kind of that's their point. Yeah, make them more faithful to the books. Yeah.
Listening to Ash, I think I've got a pitch for a Rocky reboot. Right, so you don't really focus on the boxing to start with. He's a new YouTuber called, I don't know, Rocky 420 or something, right? and he can't get any followers, and he's thrashing around trying all these different things to get people to watch him. Yeah, and he starts lifting, and he turns into a fitness channel, and then some bigger YouTuber picks on him, so he challenges him to a fight and knocks him spark the fuck out. Right, and then his follower count starts going up. So you follow his journey, picking fights with bigger YouTubers to get followers, right? And at the very climax of the film, he loses the fight, but he gets 1 million followers.
This almost sounds like the plot for Happy Gilmore.
And he still has to say, "Yo, Adrian, I did it."
Yeah, and Adrian's his cat. Who has his own more successful YouTube channel.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it can't be the worst.
Call me MGM.
To say, Grim, write the treatment up and get it in there.
There you go. There you go. I don't know. I grew up watching boxing because boxing was a hot deal back in the day. Because I mean, I obviously watched Muhammad Ali when he was younger because my uncles were really big into boxing, and I watched a lot of the greats.
Foreman and Larry Holmes.
Yeah, Larry Holmes, man. Larry Holmes is my guy, man. That fucking jab of his was unbelievable. But my biggest craze was Mike Tyson, of course, because I just love watching that dude knock people the fuck out. But
I liked Holyfield too because he was a really technically sound boxer.
Yeah, he was. Classic. And there was oh gosh, I can't remember the name of the British guy who was really good. I loved him.
Lennox Lewis.
Lennox Lewis, I loved that dude.
That was he was like the last one. It was like after that. It just lost all its momentum after that.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know what happened to him. It's like that dude had like so much charisma. He spoke well. He was,
Yeah, he had movie star looks. Yeah,
he did.
Yeah.
I don't know why he didn't go any further after the boxing ring, but nowadays he's probably somewhere he's fat, sitting in a mansion or something.
Yeah, we used to go over to my buddy's house and watch the fights pay-per-view. His father would pay for it. We'd all go over and chip in $20 toward the bill and have a big night and watch all the undercard fights. And then the big, those were great back in the 90s, early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. It was just awesome.
Yeah, I'd get the guys from work and we'd all go and do that too.
Yeah.
Good days. But then, it seemed like, after Lennox Lewis, boxing's popularity just seemed to go further and further down. And the heavyweight division just kind of emptied out. And then, Julio Cesar Chavez.
Yeah, Mayweather and those guys were popular still, but there was the lighter what do you call it, classes.
Yeah. Now I do love that MMA took off. I do like to watch it as a sport and everything like that, but just speaking as a martial artist personally, I kind of feel that we've lost a lot of the really cool traditional stuff in favor of what really works as far as fighting goes, because people watch MMA and they're kind of like, okay, well, we need to learn this kind of kicking, this kind of boxing, this kind of grappling, and all this kind of stuff. And I'm an old school martial artist. I did traditional Japanese jiu-jitsu, traditional aikido, and traditional ei jutsu, kenjutsu, katana swordsmanship. So
cool.
The old stuff is in my blood. Anyway, I feel like I'm hogging the show here. What do you get, Ash? Do you have anything to say about this? Or?
I'll hand it over to Purple.
Okay.
Sorry, sweetheart.
Ladies first.
For me, I was never a huge boxing fan, but just going by what the chat is saying, I absolutely agree with Sarlacc. There's nothing wrong with taking on the mantle of an IP. It's just how they go about it. And unfortunately, Keith brought the really good point. Star Trek, look what they've done with Star Trek at the moment. We need people, if they're going to take on these IPs, that understand the law and respect what's come before it. And are able to actually write good stories. If the talent's there, then people won't be worried. But because we haven't got the pool of talent at the moment, that's, I think, where people get very cagey about IPs being taken over.
Yeah, and I think part of the problem, and we're going to see this, is this consolidation where these corporations are buying up all these studios, and pretty soon there's only going to be like 3 or 4 large corporations that own all the entertainment, right? So the diversification of thought and diversification of creativity is going to be very limited by what's mandated by the corporate overlords.
Oh,
So you're going to start to see, like, I think you're going to see really thinned out generic entertainment, and you're not going to get, like, you're going to have to really dig for some good stuff. And it's kind of scary. And one of the counterpoints someone brought up to me was that, well, that's how Hollywood started. There were only like 3 or 4 major studios, and they had all the films, but they were run by individuals
Yes,
who
absolutely.
hired artists to be creative and do their thing, right? And yeah, there was some oversight in the studio, it meddled. I mean, that's been part of history, but this is different. These are huge corporations, like Grimm pointed out, just buying up IPs to exploit them for money. And I think that's problematic, really problematic.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Pablo. Yes, Pablo has shown up.
Hola.
Yep.
We're talking about the Amazon buying out MGM and what they're going to do with the IPs. You got any thoughts on it, or?
Yeah, I was hearing actually, and I know that you're scared about what's going on because my country went through that. My country went through. My government took over media networks, channels, newspapers, radios, you name it. They took over whatever they wanted. There were basically propaganda machines, nothing else. But we still had something being produced on the US or on Japan or on wherever. That's the point. You are in a circumstance that will take away some of the creativity from your society, but that creativity will keep coming from somewhere in some way, and that will rise people again to be creative. That's why manga is so popular, because people want to dream, people want to trigger their imagination. That's what entertainment does, and that frees you from a lot of things from inside you. So people look for that, and they will keep looking for something that gives them that catharsis, that process, and the industry will rise again with the imagination that something else will give them. So
I would hope so. I think though, if I've got 3 British panelists on today, and the thing is, I know that they have seen their own broadcasting networks that they pay for out of public funding take this slide to the more woke side of things. I mean, Doctor Who being the biggest example.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, and I don't know how you guys feel about that in particular, because this is entertainment that you guys are paying for.
I feel that they were doing it for the wrong reasons. It could have been done for a good reason. I think Missy worked quite well, all things considered. But changing the Doctor in that way, and then having too many companions, and it seemed like they were dumbing down the stories, making it back to being more kid-friendly again. I've always felt Doctor Who's been better when it's been slightly creepy, spooky, uncomfortable. And even though the visuals weren't necessarily there in the past, the script certainly had that quality.
That is something that my friends and I used to agree on very much. Is we said this back when we started watching some of the new Who, and it was kind of like our consensus was, it was like, okay, the older stuff, the special effects look like garbage, but the scripts were phenomenal. Nowadays, the special effects are great, but the scripts are garbage.
and it took its time more. So we've got better effects now, but they've replaced plot with a lot of breathless running around.
Yes.
I would much rather have seen a spin-off series centered around the Doctor's daughter, or whatever happened to Romana, or something like that. Because the Sarah Jane Adventures were made for kids, and that was a female lead, and they were really good.
That was great.
Yeah, that was great. And they tried doing Sarah Jane before, way back in the past. She had her own pilot, at least, with K9. That didn't go so well, but I thought that episode was actually quite good. So that would have been possible. You don't have to erase and overwrite what's been there before, which seems to be all they're really interested in. Like, let's vandalize everything for the sake of shock value and headlines and attention. It's and that just ruins it. Or I guess, in reference to Star Wars, it Ryans it, I suppose.
Yeah. And this is not the first time that Britain has kind of gone that way a little bit. That's what kind of bothers me, when Key starts talking about the media being controlled by basically a consortium of, businesses. I believe at one point, England, like close to the 60s and 70s, was on the verge of becoming very fascist. And that was what Alan Moore wrote V for Vendetta in response to.
More into the 80s.
Okay.
Moore was being a little bit hyperbolic, but not hugely hyperbolic. I mean, Margaret Thatcher wanted to put people with AIDS into a camp on the Isle of Wight. They tried to ban propaganda in support of LGBT. These are things that I was actually actively fighting against back in the day. And there certainly was a very authoritarian streak, but I honestly think things are worse now in the UK than they were then. You don't have the same gangs of skinheads on the streets, but that's because they're all in government and wearing suits. It's corrupt, and there's always been a big streak of conservatism in Britain in general. That's not to say run-of-the-mill sort of one nation conservatism is necessarily entirely bad, but there's always been this hang 'em and flog 'em, don't like Johnny Foreigner sort of thing just beneath the surface, and it all seems to have come out again recently. So I would get out of here if I could, to be honest.
Wow. Come to Texas, man. I got a place for you on my couch.
Get universal health care first, then I'll come over.
It's insidious, definitely. And at least for me, I cancelled my TV license. I refused to pay for it. I've seen the BBC move further and further in a direction where they shouldn't have gone, because they're supposed to be, non-partisan. That's the whole point of the BBC. They are funded by the public. They used to do amazing drama series, for example, and we don't have that anymore.
But Doctor Who took jabs at censorship, especially under those regimes. So it's kind of eerie to use it now to defend that kind of censorship.
Isn't it, though?
Yeah, it's kind of complicated, because the way the BBC is set up, or was set up originally, is a way that I think is a very good model, in that it's under a charter and the government was not supposed to be able to interfere with it. But that separation between the BBC corporation and the government has gradually been eroded year on year on year on year by both main parties. I think it must be said, to the point now where they're constantly under threat of having their funding pulled, and so they've just become a windsock. It doesn't have an identity. It's not brave enough to take on corruption in government or to have its own identity and voice anymore. And so some of that is government interference, and some of it is the kind of fake woke that you see in companies, like putting rainbows on their coffee cups or whatever. Some of it's that sort of empty virtue signaling, box ticking exercise. So we get the worst of both worlds. It's great.
Oh shit!
There is the rainbow.
Oh man,
Valkyrie can have all the purple ones.
Hasn't the BBC lost like 60% of their subs right now? Somewhere around there. They're paying subscribers.
Well, you kind of
55.
have to pay, but they have lost some.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
pretty high.
fluctuates. I don't think they'll ever say, "Oh, yeah, this is how many we've actually lost." How many people have actually cancelled their subscription. Like you say, they don't make it easy. Most certainly, if you decide that you do not wish to partake anymore.
I heard that. Yeah.
We're not quite there yet. Although, considering the prevalence of streaming services and streaming networks, I don't know. I don't know where we're headed with all this.
It's funny that you guys can actually decline to pay the license fee. Here is a tax. So we have media tax that we pay with the electric bill, and another one that we pay with the water bill. So
shit, you don't even have a choice.
No, you don't, and that's the point. That's exactly the point. Even at this moment, we don't have the choice. Somehow, we overtook in an election the socialist regime. We are 10 days of non-socialism that nothing has happened yet. We are not burning, so something is either or good or really, really bad.
I found some actual stats on the license fee payers, and it's not that big a difference.
Okay.
They've gone from 1.5 million households not having a TV license to 1.7 million.
Oh, okay.
So that 200,000.
Yeah.
Because basically, if you have a TV that is capable of receiving the BBC, then you have to pay the license fee.
Right.
But how do they monitor it?
Well, they say they have these super secret detector vans that can tell when you're watching television, but
Oh nope.
but mostly they just
I guess.
mostly if you just have an
vans,
address.
Do you mean the stupid vans with the antennas that they used to run around?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, that was a complete joke. You cannot measure the usage of radio frequencies because basically you only can see the radio frequency by catching it on antenna, but you cannot see anything receiving it. It's not enough heat. They don't have any residual radiation that your TV emits. There's nothing, absolutely nothing.
Yeah. But they use that to intimidate people, and they send letters. If you have an address and you don't have a TV license registered at that address, you constantly get letters telling you should have a TV license. So.
Oh, Az must be getting jammed up with those things then. Well, hey, Rebecca, it's good to see you.
Hey, Rebecca.
Sorry, I don't know why Twitter doesn't show me that I get notifications. All the notifications are on for Twitter, and I never get your notifications saying that you sent me a link. So my fat ass is here. Hello.
Hey, I'm just glad you're here. Okay, it's okay, and I expect people to show up a little bit late because reality in life is a real thing that happens and really bothers me when it gets in my way too. So, how many times can I say "real" in the same sentence? I don't know, but
Really, really,
really. Wow. Well, we're talking about Amazon gobbling up MGM, which also kind of dovetails nicely into and I don't usually like to entertain rumors on my show, but the big rumor that kind of followed this up came like right on the heels of it, which was that Disney is looking at buying DC Comics.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
my husband. My husband.
Gary
just
said
made
that's
the, oh shit! Look,
Yeah. I don't think that's going to happen. Gary says it's total BS, but
Yeah. Script
heard that
Doctor
also.
says.
Yeah.
Yeah, Script Doctor says there's no movement on that either. He doesn't think it's going to happen. I personally don't think it's going to happen either. But
The rumor I heard coming out of this was that Comcast is looking at CBS Viacom now.
Oh shit. I hate
which
Comcast.
would null and void Alex Kurtzman.
Well, okay, there's that.
Yeah.
See, silver lining.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
there you
will.
go.
Okay, I will give you one reason, and only one reason why Bob Iger or Bob Chapek or who's Bob? What Bob is in charge
Bob
now?
Chapek, Bob Iger
Okay,
for Disney.
Chapek will never buy Warner Brothers. He will be getting back J.J. Abrams.
Shit. Oh God, JJ, destroyer of franchises.
Yep.
Yeah, he learned a valuable lesson this past week that planning is important.
Oh
Yeah,
God.
that was a great lesson for Lost second season.
Oh God.
Never ceases to me. I've been calling the guy hack for a long time, and nobody back when he was really popular, people get mad at me for saying that. I'm like, the dude is a hack. Trust me.
Okay.
I
But
thought he
there's
was
a lot-
shit back when I saw the first Cloverfield film. So.
Right.
There's all that money involved, though. Surely someone with their fingers on the purse strings should have been like, so there's a plan, right? Before I give you these billions of dollars and a hand job, what's the plan?
I just can't believe that they didn't even have the most basic plan of Luke, Leia, Han back together, or Luke, Leia, Han, Chewie, Lando all back together in at least one scene.
Can
Like,
you
that
say it
wasn't even-
again?
What the-
Can you say it again? It's on the like a sandwich. When you
Oh,
say
Luke Leia Han sandwich.
Luke, Leia, Han, Chewie, Lando sandwich?
It does.
You want that
I
with
like
or
a Luke-
without mayo, Pablo?
Yes.
Yeah,
Serve down a toasted sesame seed bun with your
you're
with your
handed
choice of
you're
fry.
you're handed the keys to the Star Wars kingdom, and that thought doesn't occur to you?
Oh God, I know. And the funny thing the thing that galls me is the fact that I remember hearing his interviews on when he did the new Star Trek. That he was like, "Well, I was always more of a Star Wars fan," and I'm kind of like, "Look, they gave you your fucking dream, and you drove it like a fucking steam engine off a cliff. How did you do that?"
yeah, what you forget is that the steam engine had also a nuclear reactor attached. So
No shit. No shit. It's I could swear I heard it whistling all the way down as I was watching the first what is it what the hell I managed to block it out of my memory. What was that seventh movie called?
Oh,
The Force Awakens?
Oh yeah, that's it. The Farce Awakens. The Fart Awakens.
Force Awakens, yeah.
The Farce Awakens. Yeah. Oh my God.
I call it the whole thing the Disney tragedy. It's not the sequel trilogy; is the sequel tragedy.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, Pablo, because like they don't even count to me. Like I don't even they seem like fan films or something. Like
Yeah.
Right?
I don't even
Bad
consider
ones.
them real. You know what I mean? I know they are, but they don't feel real.
Okay.
Some
let me-
people are trying
Oh.
to find a justification for redoing for ignoring it all, because apparently in the Rebels TV series, though I haven't seen all of it, Ahsoka gets rescued by whatever the young guy is called, by this kind of nexus of the Force that allows you to reach back in time.
Veil of the Force. Yeah.
Veil of the Force. So they're thinking that maybe they'll screw up the timeline by reaching back in time and doing something, and thereby we can ignore those 3 Highlander 2s.
Oh man.
But I doubt it.
Doubt it. I seriously
Look,
do.
Rogue One kinda really feels like Star Wars. The Mandalorian has a lot of Star Wars. It kinda feels like the old comic books on Dark Horse that were not that amazing on story, but they were fun enough to keep reading and reading and reading.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
the sequel trilogy is not really. I don't know. It's like it doesn't really count. Doesn't really feel like Star Wars.
Well, I mean, that's because outside of the original characters, everybody else feels like a cardboard cutout.
But the original characters don't feel like the original characters.
They feel like cardboard cutouts too. I mean,
Yep.
it's just kind of like, we're old, we're getting a paycheck, fuck it.
Yep.
What can you do? But anyway, yeah,
Funny that
I don't.
came out. It's weird that it came out this week and like validated everything that all these YouTubers have been saying, everything they've been saying and getting beaten down by not only other people on Twitter or whatnot, other fans, but also employees at Lucasfilm, right?
Exactly.
And it just comes out and like, yeah, you know what? We just kind of made it up as we went along.
Pablo fucking
reminds
had
me of
to
that scene in Raiders when Salah says, "What are you going to do?" And he's like, "I don't know. I'm making this up as I go along." It's and it was obvious.
Yes.
Anybody who knows anything about production or storytelling can see that.
Well, I mean, but that's what I've been saying about Star Wars from the beginning too, because everybody's always like, "Oh, George had a plan for 9 movies." I'm like, bullshit. He didn't know if that first film was going to take off or not. He was just as shocked as everybody else. Everybody was sitting there slack-jawed, open-mouthed at how big that first Star Wars movie was, and that's why it took like almost 4 years for there to actually be a sequel, because they were busy going, "Well, what the fuck are we going to do now?"
Oh, Hamill's talked about how they were getting the rewrites on the set and like, now Darth Vader's your father. Like, what?
Yep. But Lucas was having fun with the first movie.
Correct.
And that's the important part. If you see any of the other films, the directors are not having fun, the producers are not having fun, the cast is not having fun at all.
I think
Even
Irvin
Williams
Kershner did a great job on the second one.
Oh no! I mean in the sequel.
The sequels.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. No one is having fun. No one is enjoying themselves.
Well, I think it's funny. It goes back to what T-Shirt said, where JJ, when he was doing Star Trek, kept talking about how much he liked Star Wars better, and you kind of thought, well, give him Star Wars, and then he didn't want to see it through all 3 movies. He wanted to do what he normally does, like leave a mystery box, walk away, and let somebody else clean up his mess. And then they had to
What's
bring
in
him
the box?
like, oh shit!
What's in the box?
What's in the box? It's flaming cat turds,
and they bring him back to put an ending on something. He's never put an ending on anything he's ever done because he's walked away.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, JJ famously cannot end anything, and I think going back to what you were saying about enjoying it, nobody enjoyed it, including the audience.
I'm seeing this as a trend with everybody, though. JJ can't finish shit. What is it? Fucking George R.R. Martin can't finish shit, and now Kentaro Miura's dead, so he can't finish Berserk either. But in his defense, though, I think he was having trouble figuring out how to end it too.
Yeah.
But
okay. Let me ask you this: does JJ have a daughter, a son, any kind of child? Anything?
Children? Yeah, he does. In fact, this is so funny. This story comes from his Cloverfield film.
Was he the one that finished it on his wife?
Oh,
wow!
Nice one. Oh, I didn't see that one coming. You slid that one in there, Pablo. Good job.
You didn't see JJ coming either because he didn't finish.
We gotta clip that shit right there. Oh, that was a good one. Oh my gosh, Ash, you've been real quiet on this. Are you seething over there in the corner?
Well, no, not seething, because everyone has their own opinions. And as some of you guys know, I love the sequels. In Star Trek, I love the Abrams Trek films. I even mildly enjoyed Star Trek Discovery Season 3. And I'm from a different generation that will see things differently. Like I've said this multiple times. Like, I didn't grow up with the original stuff. I didn't grow up in the golden era of these franchises. I come from a clean slate-ish, but when it comes to the sequels, there's sequels for Star Wars. There's a lot of stuff I did enjoy, but going in hindsight, there's also a lot of stuff that I know they missed the mark on. I mean, take Han, for example. He didn't act in, his character wasn't written in any way that his original character would have been in the OT. There was so much wasted potential with other characters like Finn. and stuff. I mean, when Keith from Pop Culture Minefield came on our channel earlier in the week, I said to him there was a way they could have done the sequel trilogy and still kept their ideas of Palpatine returning, and that would have been have what did happen in Force Awakens, still have Rey be the granddaughter of Palpatine, but by episode 8, we'll have like Kylo turn back to Ben, be more of like a mercenary like Han Solo, but also be a Jedi at the same time, learning the Force. And then Rey would flip to the dark side, so you could have your dyad that way, but Kylo would go from dark to light and Rey would go from light to dark, and then they'd duke it out in episode 9, and then they do whatever there.
Goddamn, Ash, we need to have you fucking read this or write all this stuff for them. Jesus, that's much better plot.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff they could have done. I mean, I wouldn't bat an eyelid if they did like wipe the sequels from canon. Force Awakens, I did really enjoy that. I think that was my favorite of the 3, even though I did like a lot of the visuals and some of the stuff in the latter films. I don't think they would, because even though Disney are hurting for money because of how like they're currently at a loss when it comes to Star Wars. Like I think they're barely even breaking even at that point. Like with the purchase of Star Wars, I mean, I understand that they borrowed money from the bank to even purchase Star Wars, and then as we all know, Solo lost money.
Yep.
And there was so many rewrites, recasts, advertising. It all adds up, and I think they're still in a negative when it comes to funds.
Oh, yeah.
So they're Disney are literally bleeding. So even when it comes to an acquisition of another company, they need to sort their own shit out before they even consider buying another company, another IP, because like Disney Plus, it's good income for them, but they need big blockbusters to bring that cash in to help write off the deficit so they can move forward as a business.
That's why they're trying so hard to
exactly
suck the teat of the Chinese.
Yeah. And even then, like with the parks, the theme parks, they've lost so much money on that. I mean, Kathleen Kennedy's, she's been nothing but like a bleeding hole for money for Disney. Can
you rephrase that?
Phrasing.
I mean, he's not wrong, but
what?
See, ladies, Ash, I know you're young. Ladies have this thing called a period, you see.
Sorry, I'm completely. Whoops. Sorry, I didn't mean it like that. You know what I meant.
We did.
You know what I meant, though.
Oh, hey, look! I found George Lucas. Let me see if we can get a comment out of him real quick on this.
They're dissolving this thing in a molten salt, and they're doing electrochemistry on it. Why don't they call it molten salt? They want.
You guys knew what I meant.
No, totally. You're spot on, Ash. And I saw an article somewhere a while back that said that they might not be solvent again or making a profit till 2040.
Ooh.
Somewhere in that neighborhood. So I mean, they're heaping in debt right now, and I think Star Wars lost like $30 million.
Not entirely surprised. I mean, a big part of Star Wars also has always been the merchandise. I mean, you think just how much merchandise has been churned out over the years, and for the sequel trilogy, nobody's buying them because nobody likes the characters.
No, I mean it's like who's it? World class bullshitters. They go to the stores all the time, and they just show you rows and rows and rows of fucking sequel shit on the shelves that is just
50 cents. Yeah. And the Galaxy's Edge flopped too, so you got that. So
who the hell wants to pay $20 for a fucking drink?
Yeah, or to look at sequel trilogy settings and whatnot. I mean, to me, if I'm going to build a Star Wars theme park, it starts at Mos Eisley, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Pablo, you okay? You having some problems over there?
Yep. Just testing something in the audio and everything went to hell. So
Situation normal, all fucked up. Okay.
yep.
Well, Beck, you got any comments on this before we run with it, or?
I had 0 comments. My husband and I had something witty earlier about the whole Ben Affleck thing, but it's no, here, hold on. Hold on.
I didn't catch the whole conversation. That was what was going on, but it was like I can imagine JJ somehow gets mixed into this. It's now Batfleck with more lens flare.
Why did Batman's suit become so shiny?
Fleck.
I can't wait to see what JJ does with the DC universe. It's kind of like, haven't you beaten this goddamn horse enough already?
Well, you know, when they get the SEC approval for this Discovery merger buyout thing, that could be off the table, right? I mean, new overlords. So
true, new overlords.
Yeah.
And my boyfriend made a really good point. If they just throw Deadpool in every movie, we're good.
They said that Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool should pop in every movie, just like Stan Lee used to.
Even the DC movies, why not?
Why not?
Yes, Queen.
He is kind of multi-universal. Oh man.
But you mean the correct R-rated version, or this PG sanitized version that they're pushing?
Yeah. Oh, please don't clean Deadpool. Please don't.
I mean, you have a good thing. Don't mess with it.
We're going to get something like Disney buys DC. Then we're going to get like a next Justice League film from Snyder. And what's going to happen is we're going to get Superman just about to punch Darkseid in the face, and the frame is going to freeze. And then you get PG Deadpool coming in saying, "This is also made for kids, guys." And then he just walks off frame, and then everything just resumes.
Oh, wait. Zax makes a really good point here in the chat. Says they don't get that kids don't care about these franchises unless we introduce them to our kids. And this is true. Most of the kids I know don't buy comic books because they're fucking $5 a piece, $5.50 a piece. So kids aren't going into the goddamn store and buying comic books, okay? It's us old fuckers who actually have wallets and make regular money who are keeping this shit alive.
Right. And then they tell us that this isn't for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they tell us it's not for us. And then they sit there going, why is manga outselling us? We need to get rid of manga and take manga artists to task for their depiction of oversized breasts.
Or what Jerry Dugan said about how it was him, right? With the X-Men, where he said that they're making it for each other and they don't care what we think.
Yes,
like
exactly.
Oh, we're entertaining ourselves. Like, oh, good luck with that at $5 a book, right?
Yeah. It's like, I hope your artists had a really good time drawing all this shit that they won't be able to sell because they're going to be looking for jobs next year because what's going to happen is all these artists they got working for them now, they're going to take them out and they're going to hire new artists from the local colleges and shit, put them in their place and dump all those dudes.
Yeah, it's weird, the hubris of the comic book creator community. And I don't know where it kind of started. Maybe it's these mega conventions that made them feel like they're rock stars or something. But it's just weird how they have this huge ego for an industry that's like scratching and clawing its way to survive. And the fact that they continue to insult their audience, their paying customers, it's beyond me. It's really astounding.
And I guess Pablo pushed a button again. But speaking of companies that insult their fan base, why don't we talk about Heavy Metal Magazine? There we go. And hey, Grimm's back. All right. So, as you may or may not have heard, Heavy Metal Magazine released this latest cover for their Tarna series. And it features, the title character Tarna wearing the heavy-duty armor like this, which is, of course, covering her all up. Now, those of you who grew up and you watched the old film, you might remember that she kind of looked a little bit more like. Let me see this here. Right. This is the Tarna I remember.
Same character.
It's
Holy
the
shit,
same
I did not
character.
connect those dots.
Yep, it's the same character. The one from the movie who never spoke, and she was featured in several comic books, and this is her backstory. This is straight off of the Heavy Metal website. Now, I get it. I mean, obviously, a fantasy depiction of a woman wearing, next to nothing in armor, is not realistic. But I mean, that's the whole point, isn't it? It's supposed to be a fantasy.
By definition, absolutely.
Yeah. And she's supposed to be a Tarakian, which is like their race of warriors and all this sort of stuff. So she's supposed to be really, really good at fighting anyway. So I'm kind of like, maybe she doesn't need that much armor because it would slow her down, and she can, fight with more puissance. I think if that's the word.
Puissance.
Puissance. Thank you. Puissance than as if she were armored up like a medieval knight or something.
Maybe they're like the ancient Celts, and they believe that armor is a sign of cowardice.
Yeah, I've read a lot of stuff about that, where the ancient Celts would actually charge their enemies freaking naked. So I mean, if you can imagine, you're a little 5-foot Roman soldier, you're seeing this crazed 6-foot bearded naked man running at you with a giant sword. That's kind of intimidating.
I mean, I'm not mad.
Perfect Saturday night to me.
It's not so much the cover that bugs me. It's the way they've treated anybody who has objected.
Yeah, I agree. But
they will always come for a you say whatever the least amount of I don't like this redesign, and you're the evil one. But I don't see the logic here. I don't see how you are saying this woman was badass and fuck you, shut up.
Well, okay, to be fair, this is like from their first issue, and this is honestly how she's dressed through most of the series. So they're not totally breaking from it. They did release a thing on their Twitter where they said, "Hey, she was dressed up in that armor for one fight," but then they immediately took to task anybody who was arguing against it, like saying, "You know what? You could change your clothes, and we recommend showering first before you do." Like, so we're all characterized as a bunch of stinky ass dudes who never change our clothes, apparently.
And we grew up, didn't you? Was one of the, or something similar was one of the comments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kinda sounds like the anime community or the Magic the Gathering community.
With the
Just
stinky
saying.
part?
Oh, yep. Have you ever been in a Magic the Gathering championship?
I try to avoid them. Unfortunately, my local game store does encourage a lot of Magic the Gathering play, and yeah, some of those guys are kind of ripe.
Yep.
Oh, it's like the Comic-Con. There's like a cloud that hovers somewhere around. If you're above it, you're safe. If you're below it, but there's a certain zone. It just it's brutal.
Yeah, they took over role-playing conventions for a while. It's like most of the space would be devoted to Magic and a couple of other card games. And the role players were all stuck over in a corner going, "What the fuck happened to our convention?"
Yeah.
Bastards.
Yeah.
We saw something similar last month, right, from Dynamite Comics with the James Bond Spectre #3 cover. Did you see that one?
No, I missed that one.
Aaron Lopresti, who was the artist, was asked to do a Jim Steranko homage. So he did a Steranko style cover, and there's the woman in the story in her underwear. posing seductively and the whole bit. And the woke crowd went after Dynamite, and he was told Photoshop a dress on her, so he did.
I'm fully expecting it to happen when this Red Sonja film finally comes out as well. There's no way she's going to be in this skimpy little chainmail bikini that's so iconic.
Oh, I know. But although I have seen older depictions of Red Sonja with a chain shirt, which actually looked kind of sensible.
The real question is, will she be a redhead?
Nope.
Yeah. No, she won't be a redhead.
Not a redhead, no.
They should cast that girl from the new Jumanjis. What's her name?
Karen Gillan.
Karen Gillan.
She's already been cast. It's a British lady. I believe she's mixed race.
Yeah. Was it confirmed that then?
Mm-hmm.
It has been. I don't necessarily object to her because I've seen her in things like Killjoys, and she can fight and so on, but she's not Red Sonja.
She was in this horror movie Oculus.
Oculus?
Oculus.
Karen Gillan wasn't she? Yeah.
It was not bad, not terrible at least.
I thought she
was Nebula in the MCU films.
Yeah, you
And
totally
she could
couldn't
fight
tell it
pretty
was
well.
her though.
I know,
Yeah.
she's unrecognizable. Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking
Then
of which, yeah,
maybe
Perp,
Yeah,
I
maybe she
object.
fits.
You've got the skimpy armor and the red hair, so it's like you're like doing a double disservice to the woke crowd.
You know what? That's exactly why I use this avatar. It just seems to get people really mad.
Not me.
But right, heavy metal, right? It comes from originally Metal Hurlant, which was
the
the
German series.
French.
Oh, was it French? Okay.
Yeah, it means something like metal scream, something like that. So it comes from that, and it was always very libertine, very adult. It was a mature comic. It was like pushing the boundaries of what was acceptable and tasteful, particularly when it came to more American audiences and so on. So if they're not that anymore, what are they? What makes them distinct? What's their unique selling point? What is it that makes heavy metal what it is if it's not what it was, if it doesn't carry on in that tradition? So I think they're kind of boning themselves by taking up against their own audience and leaning away from their heritage. I mean, that's 50 years of brand recognition being erotic and dangerous and violent and edgy, and then you toss that away, all that goodwill, all that history, for what?
For an apology.
For this illusory other audience that doesn't seem to be there if Marvel and DC are anything to judge by.
Or look at manga, which gives you all the things you just rattled off heavy metal used to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is crushing it. Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like, when I was a kid, manga was not in ready supply. So heavy metal was one of the first adult illustrated books that you could buy. And I remember looking through them early on, sneaking a peek at them in the stores and stuff when I couldn't buy them. And then later on just buying them full out. But yeah, they had Milo Manara and all these other Italian artists who would do all kinds of just wild nudity and borderline straight up pornographic stuff. But it was good stories for the most part. Some of it was pretty outlandish. I dare anybody to read a Ranzarok story and go, I completely understand totally what's going on in this. But
Snort.
But
Rank Xerox was shacked up with a 13-year-old girl. That's how edgy and French it used to be.
Yes, it was. And then Marvel chose to come out with Epic Illustrated, which kind of followed that same adult illustrated pattern. So those were like my two champion cornerstones of comics that were like saying, hey, look, comics aren't necessarily just for children now. This is actually for adults too. So, I could always point that and say, look, it's not just for kids.
Yeah, but careful, T-shirt. Jerry Conway's coming for your collection.
Oh, well, you know what? He's has to come for my Punisher collection first, and he made that guy.
Yeah.
My comic throughout my entire life has been 2000 AD, and during its heyday, sort of late 70s through the 80s, it was very punk rock and edgy and interesting because it took risks. And you know, all the kind of British invasion artists and writers, you know, like Moore, like Grant Morrison, wrote stuff for 2000 AD. These days, it's just lost its character, and I'm only really buying it still out of habit rather than anything else.
That's kind of how I feel with heavy metal these days, anyway, because it seems like all their good stuff, all their good days are behind them. Occasionally, they'll do a special issue where they'll reprint some of their older material, and then you could get a look at, you know, the glory days, the golden age of what really good illustrated adult stuff look like. But for the most part,
maybe it died the day Julie Strain did.
Oh God, what a loss! I remember the Julie Strain days too.
Mm.
Oh man. Well, Rebecca, what do you have any thoughts on this? I know you're a heavy metal fan. You got to be.
So yes, I am a heavy metal fan. But going back on the Red Sonja thing, right?
Mhm.
So, and am I wrong in thinking that the original actress is she still alive?
Oh, Bridget Nelson, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Quite old.
We can have her. You know what I mean? But cameo. But what about like Lucy Lawless?
Gina Carano.
Gina Carano.
Gina Carano, yep.
Yeah.
Troublemaker.
So we don't. There are so many other, you know, female picks for the role. I'm worried about how the movie is going to be.
They should have Arnold and Conan.
Yeah, they should have Arnold as King Conan. You know, so I mean, there's ways to really make this movie of a really good movie. I'm scared.
Well, y'all talk for a minute. I'm digging up a photo.
Okay,
No,
everyone talk about T-shirt while he's busy.
Okay.
Such a fanboy.
I am.
yes.
I'm a terrible fanboy.
I've got to admit, I've never read any of the heavy metal magazines, but just reading the tweets from this, you know, how it's blown up, they're incredibly antagonistic towards fans and people that were just trying to put across a, you know, pretty normal, if not, you know, I don't know whether they would call it a complaint, but they were just pointing out that, you know, why are you changing this character that everybody knows and loves, that's, you know, iconic.
Yeah, the heavy metal. I mean, but it again, and I say this every time. Some Karen had an issue with their child growing up with this, and heaven forbid their grandchildren, or heaven forbid, you know, my child is going to look into all this. We're just taking things way too far here in America with just everything. I mean, what is wrong with manga?
Well, it's not even just America. It appears to be a worldwide symptom. I mean, like we were just talking about Britain earlier.
Mm-hmm.
What I cannot wrap my head around is that we got really used to this coming from the kind of evangelical conservative right.
Oh my God, Grim, I was going the same place. Go.
I just, as a lifelong lefty, yes. I cannot wrap my head around the fact that it's coming from people who style themselves as progressive. Yeah, it's the murderer is inside the house.
Right. Right. The killer's in the backseat of the car. Yeah. That I was just going to go in the same place. Like, you know, growing up in the 80s, we had all the televangelists, and they were telling us our albums were the devil and all this stuff. And okay, we got that, right? But now it's like the hippies that are doing it.
Yeah. And I joke with some of my older coworkers about that too. I'm kind of like, I thought you were a hippie. Why are you so conservative now? But
yeah,
this is Hannah John Kamen, who is going to be playing. What?
Instead of rage against the machine, they're raging with the machine.
Yeah, part of cog in the machine.
Yeah.
But this is the woman who they have picked to play Red Sonja.
I'm not for it. I'm sorry. She can be in so many other roles. She will not do well as Red Sonja. No way.
She is not Red Sonja. Sorry.
No.
I like the stuff she's done. I think she's got the physical chops to do it. And man, I would hit it like the fist of an angry god. But still, she is not Red Sonja.
Yeah, I mean, she is physical. I've seen her in Killjoys. She's very physical. So she can handle the fighting chops. I have no doubt. I don't have a particular problem with her ethnicity. That doesn't bother me.
Right. They're like none of that. It's just, it's not, it's an iconic character. And I don't think that she's gonna pull a Jared Leto when it came to Suicide Squad. I see it.
She doesn't scream megastar. Like, she doesn't seem like someone who can carry a franchise character like that.
No,
She'd
her
be better off
posture,
playing, like,
her
the villain or
expression. No, she is not Red Sonja. Red Sonja. Okay, she's strong. She's not menacing.
There you go.
You get what I mean?
Yeah, she'd make a good Bond girl, like an enemy spy or something. She'd be very good at that.
But I don't know if they're going to red wig her or what. And I also don't know if they are going to change her origin story because they retconned it in the Dynamite comics. So I don't know if they're going to do that for the film too.
Yes. Wasn't that Gail Simone?
Yes, good old Gail Simone.
What about the Lagatha from the Viking series? What about her? Why
Catherine Winnick?
Oh, yeah, I could have seen that.
Yeah, that would have been a good choice.
Just got to remind myself. It looks like.
I think for me, I was just feeling a little bit bitter because it's yet another redhead that Hollywood have decided to recast.
So bizarre, isn't it?
A long list of redheads that they just do not want to use.
Funny, I was just thinking that last night because I have recently finally started to watch the Orville, and I got hooked in, and I love it because it's so Star Trek, right? But they have the guy Scott Grimes, the pilot, the navigator there. He's a redhead, and I was like, holy shit! Like, leading character who's a ginger. How'd that happen? It's crazy.
Yeah, Catherine Winnick is the best option I've heard people bring up.
There are no souls in space.
And if let's see if our audience doesn't know who we're talking about, let me see. This should be her right here. Boom.
Ah,
yeah, I could see it.
Call.
Yep,
that works.
And you know she can handle a sword, and you know she's physical. It would seem like a no-brainer for the casting.
Well, she can handle me.
Easy killer. Yeah. It makes you wonder. I don't think they, when they used to cast roles, they had open auditions and like they looked for like the best person to play the character, but I don't think they do that anymore. I think they go in with their agenda. They find the person that they want to insert in that role. And that's just the way it is now. They're not looking for the best person. They're looking for the right person by their standards.
If they did that back in the 70s, remember Burt Reynolds?
Oh, here, hold on.
Well, yeah, imagine Burt Reynolds auditioned to play, Vader. If it was all based on Hollywood rules, the studio knows best, it wouldn't have been. It would have been. I'm laughing. I'm sorry. It would have been Burt Reynolds as Vader. How would that have gone?
Oh, that would have been interesting.
You would have had a great laugh.
Yeah. They would have dubbed him too, I think.
I'm your father.
Ash, you're pretty quiet about this. You brought up a good thing in private chat though, so go ahead and say what you're gonna say, man.
I'm not sure if it's something I should say on air because of the what it is, but all I'm going to say is personally the actress that they've chosen, I don't think red hair would suit her. So, I think if they did go with the different colored hair, I wouldn't have as much of an issue. But I think if they wanted to go the deep, bright red hair, which is synonymous to Red Sonja, I think they should choose a different actress. That's what I'm going to say on that.
Yeah.
The word red is in the name, so
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
brunette.
Not-
Sonja doesn't
Not to colorblind people. Come on now.
dark gray Sonya.
Dark gray.
Slightly
Sonya.
mauve tone. Sonya. Oh gosh. Yeah, Paulie was on last week, and he made a really good point about the fact that, you know, as actors and actresses, they, you know, Hollywood's not necessarily picking based on merits, but there's also a kind of an impetus on the actor and actress to make that role theirs by how they, you know, show up and what's the word I'm looking for? Play for the part, or you know, try to cast themselves for the part.
Mm-hmm.
So there is that element too, you know. And I've argued, you know, that, you know, Dave Bautista should play Bane because he's the right physical size, even if, you know, he can't act.
Yeah, but
come on, we grew up in the '80s with Stallone and Schwarzenegger and these knuckle draggers that couldn't act.
True,
but it was about the escapism of the whole thing. You know, well, come on, you had a cyborg from the future with an Austrian accent. That didn't matter, right?
Yeah, I still remember Dolph Lundgren playing the Punisher, and I was just kind of like, eee.
Yeah, Rocky IV, he's horrible. Who cares, right?
He didn't have to act a whole lot in that. All he had to do was just beat on Stallone.
Right. So I'm with you, Dave Bautista, because Dave Bautista feels like a throwback to that other time.
He kind of does, but, you know, even he's getting old too. I mean, it's like he's already said that he's bowing out of the Marvel Cinematic Universe when James Gunn leaves because he says, for one thing, keeping that muscle definition for playing the part of Drax and being shirtless all the time, he says, is getting harder and harder to do all the time.
Question.
Well, I'm sure he's eating more these days with that money.
Who played Nick Fury in the 80s, the 90s?
Hasselhoff. What's your question?
Oh wow. Yeah, Bautista's he's my age. We're 7 days apart in age. He's 52.
Yeah,
so I can see his point. Yeah,
he's very self-conscious about the whole thing. You know, he's lost a lot of mass, and he can wear a tank top, but he just doesn't want to run around shirtless.
Yeah, he wants Drax killed, right? In the next movie.
I don't necessarily know that he wants him killed. He just doesn't want to. He just doesn't want to play that character anymore. And you know, James Gunn has already said, "Hey, I'm done when Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is done." And Bautista has already said that, you know, he's super duper loyal to Gunn, and so when Gunn goes, Bautista's going to.
But I mean, they have bodysuits and stuff. I mean, look at the Hellboy movies. You know, we could do that with him. It's fine. Please, Bautista, don't go away.
Okay, just have a throwaway line like Rocket says, "I'm sick of looking at your nipples." And throw him a shirt. Yeah. God damn it!
Or Thor will
have
probably
the
be with
decency
him, right?
to grow some fur.
Maybe Thor will give him some armor since they're like Thor's on the team, right? So.
Yeah.
Ooh, I know. What we can start covering him up. Let's start covering him up with armor because, you know, armor will protect him better, and that's much more, you know, in vogue and PC.
It'll hide his boobs.
It'll hide his boobs, and it won't look so sexist and sexy.
Well, you don't see the mob getting triggered over shirtless dudes. They just get triggered.
Really? Yeah, they don't get upset when Chris Hemsworth takes his shirt off. What the
Exactly. Or Henry Cavill or any of those.
Yeah.
I don't see the
Because
outrage.
those men are perfect.
I bet there'd be outrage if Meatloaf took his shirt off.
I don't know. You know, there's girls out there who like those dad bods.
I thought
so-
the dad bods were in now. Yeah.
Yeah, dad bod Thor is popular.
I love dad bods. I have 3 with dad bods and then 1 skinny. And I can tell you right now that the 3 with the dad bods are really nice to cuddle.
There you go.
Right, we can stop holding our guts in.
Get serious, Grim. What do you weigh? Like about 150 pounds soaking wet?
I'm getting old. My metabolism's slowing down, so I'm starting to put some on, unfortunately. I did
You
lose
look
weight
like-
during lockdown.
You look like you're about 185 to 190, Grim. Am I right?
What's that in stone? Because we're schizophrenic about our measurements here in the UK. Yeah, maybe about that. Maybe 12 to 13 stone. So you multiply that by 14 for pounds. So yeah, you're in the ballpark.
You measure by stones.
Yes, and a stone is 14 pounds.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I want to figure
I
out.
love
how many
English
pounds I
measurements.
am now.
Well, half the stuff we do in we talked about temperature earlier, so we're really schizophrenic. Like distance is miles, temperature is centigrade. Yeah,
Weight is stones.
Weight is stones.
Yeah.
I would have thought you'd have gone for like kilograms or something. Oh no, you do kilograms for your meats.
Yes, and for the doctor, you do it in kilograms.
I'm also 13.2 stones.
We still haven't even caught on to liters and shit over
I
here yet.
had a kidney stone. Is that similar?
If your kidney stone
depends how big it is.
Yeah, if your kidney stone weighs a stone, you're dead.
Yeah. Get that shit broken up with some ultrasound.
Yeah. Some dude with a
I was
sledgehammer.
about right on your weight. I feel proud. I was about right on your weight.
Yeah, and all you can see is my upper half. Can't even see my moobs. So
You wear it very well, my man.
Yes, Kylock, it's very confusing.
All right. Well, do we have anything else to say about this? I mean, I don't want to keep beating it to death if the panel's pretty much done with it, because we still got plenty we can talk about.
I would just say, let's hope we're all wrong and we're pleasantly surprised when it comes out.
Let's hope
so.
That's what I like to say about all this crap that I get so down on. I got to be optimistic. So.
In the meantime, I guess I should check for the latest heavy metal magazine, see how it is. But
yeah, but otherwise, I think we're ready for a new subject. So moveon.org, as they say on the Powerpuff Girls.
Moveon.org. Okay.
Oh, those scripts are shit, man.
I'm glad someone got the reference.
Oh. All right. This is kind of controversial. I mean, both good and bad. I know. I say that about everything, don't I? But earlier, we had this fella here, Mr. Cena, pictured here in his F9 stuff.
He looks thrilled to be there, doesn't he?
Doesn't he, though?
Is that a Chinese car?
I don't know. I can't tell. It looks.
He just has resting bitch face, doesn't he?
Kinda.
No, I think he
kind of looks like Ernest, but
Yeah,
I can't see him.
An official poster, is it by any chance? Because that's a really odd shot.
Yeah. Compositionally, I don't like it because it's like the character is right in the dead center of the screen, and that's like where your eye is least attracted.
Also, the color of the car makes his legs look tiny.
What are you guys seeing? I don't see anything. You said John Cena?
We can't see him.
I see one beautiful Mustang.
Looks like they got someone's cousin to do the film poster just by crudely photoshopping him over the top of the car.
Yeah, it looks like he was put together from spare parts.
Well,
cheap Chinese imports, you know.
And speaking of China, yeah, evidently he was. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that he was forced to make that apology to China about saying that Taiwan is a country.
Under
The
threat
one
of
that was
counting.
something like, please forgive me, please. I will never say nothing about China.
Oh yeah,
Taiwan.
He was told you'll never work in this town again unless you retract.
Do we know if his comments were a genuine mistake, or did he genuinely mean to say what he said about Taiwan?
Well, I talked to Script Doctor about it, and Script Doctor has met John Cena, and he says he's a real nice guy. He's a real stand-up dude. He is very much patriotic, and most of his career is built on his patriotism and stuff like that. So for them to humiliate him kind of like this, I'm pretty sure this must have come down from the studio, and he was basically trying to save jobs on the shows because they're trying to get that Chinese teat to suckle on.
Oh yeah, that's where they make all their money.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, clearly, I think a lot of these people are scared they'll never work again if they don't get on board with the agenda. And
you know what's fun about that?
What's that?
If they keep doing this, they will never work at all.
True.
People is so tired of their shit that they don't want to watch them on the screen.
Yeah, exactly. They're engineering their own demise.
Yes, they are. But when's the last time, the suits and ties at these studios are not hired for, or they're not, they don't have the most creative ability. They don't have foresight. They're not visionaries.
No, they don't.
They're
I'm
just
Ecuadorian, okay?
money, and they're always chasing trends. They're never setting them. They're chasing them.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay,
They
at
won't
this.
react to this until it's kind of too late, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm Ecuadorian, and people here are asking about what the hell is going on in Hollywood. People here in Ecuador. And we are in a socialist country.
Wow.
They are like, what's this craziness about gender, about identity, about why every single character that used to be a man now is a black woman? They actually ask about that. Because it's crazy to watch from the outside what they are doing. They are destroying even our interest. And they are supposed to be more inclusive about what they want to do. Well, Latinos don't want to buy their stuff, so China is banning their stuff. In Canada, they are giving restrictions about how much you can import from the US on that regard. So they are losing the US and they are losing the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Zax brings up a really good thing in the chat. He says, that John Cena has set records for his charity work, so we can't be mad at him. And yeah, I agree. Script was saying that, John Cena has done a shitload of stuff for Make-A-Wish Foundation, visiting hospitals and kids and everything else. So the guy is actually a really stand-up dude. Mm-hmm. So for the studio execs to kind of, pretty much put a gun to his head and tell him it's like, you know what, you're going to go out there and you're going to fucking say this, or your ass is dead, as far as the business goes.
Well, that's what I was asking earlier, if this was a genuine mistake on his part, or if what he said about Taiwan was an actual opinion.
I think it was a genuine mistake. I mean, looking at what he actually said, he was doing an interview and with a Taiwanese broadcasting network, and all he said during the interview was that Taiwan would be the first country to watch the film. That was it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think it's just one of many interviews he did that day, and it just
yeah. And then the suits just came and clamped down on his ass.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he didn't set out to offend anybody. Certainly, I don't think he was making any, backhanded political statements of any kind. And for them to treat him the way they have done, I think it's kind of disgusting, to be honest.
I'm pretty sure if there was a lot of backlash because of his comments before he apologized, I think he would have apologized on his own accord anyway. But this apology that was given does sound a bit forced and from the studio.
Yeah,
could be
I would agree.
Could be contractual under a non-disparagement clause.
That's true also.
I have
These
no idea what
shits
that means,
over
but I'm
the
gonna
image.
agree.
These shits over the image of John Cena, because now we know that John Cena is scared of something. That easy.
Everybody's scared of something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
but
my
he's a
reaction-
little bitch. He's scared of a studio.
well, yeah, this cancel culture, they'll take away your livelihood. And that's it. You're done.
They will. They'll make sure that you never work.
Okay,
ever.
try to cancel John Cena and see what happens. Really, try to do it. Because he is
I'm
big
with you.
enough as a star that he will do a Gina Carano tenfold easily.
Yep.
He will be the biggest star ever. He
I'm
will be
with
the next Schwarzenegger. He will be the next Stallone. He will be the next Van Damme. He will be the biggest star ever
But-
because he is the macho that faced the corporation that is ruining everything.
But going that independent, he won't have the distribution he's getting now through these major studios. And I think once you get into that, you're in that culture and you're in that mindset and you're catching these monster checks and you're just getting blockbuster after blockbuster. You kind of get used to that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And if that gets taken away and you got to start at the bottom again, I don't think that's something he'd do it if he had to. But when I saw this story, I pitied. Like, I didn't get mad. I was like, oh Jesus, this poor guy. Like, it's clear. Like you can see him behind with the bayonets. Come on,
Mhm.
say it.
Yeah.
Say it, or you're dead.
I mean, if,
Fucked up.
Sorry.
It is.
I was just to say, if you think the harassment that people get from woke scolds and so on is bad, Chinese nationalists make them look like amateurs. They will hound you forever.
Mhm.
And they don't want to lose distribution in China. It's as simple as that. And this studio's like, you're going to cost us a ton of money unless you apologize for this.
I don't think he's got the charisma to kind of pull it off either. If this was The Rock, I think he would have the kind of background and the pedigree to do it. But John Cena, he fills a role, but he's not a charismatic. He's not like a Schwarzenegger. He's not a Stallone. He's not one of the 80s action heroes that we had.
Yeah. Also, the studios don't really get how working with China works. First of all, you won't receive the profits from the movies. You will receive 25 to 20% because you have to be owned by China, by the one of the companies. In this case, I'm not sure if Disney is with Tencent or is directly with the party. But you have to have stakes in the party to be able to operate in China.
Mhm.
And is from 75 to 80%. So you basically will receive only drops of money. It's not that, it sounds a lot when you say we have earned this much, but how much has stayed in China? That they don't say.
Well, whatever it is, they're in quite a symbiotic relationship. That's for sure.
Yeah. This whole thing about Taiwan not even being a country, that actually kind of started all the way back with Richard Nixon when he made his visit to mainland China.
You mean
He-
the Free Republic of Taiwan?
No. Way back in the day when Nixon was president over here in the United States, he reached out to Mao and, he made that whole, speech about, long live Chinese American friendship. And a lot of people saw that by him reaching out to Mao, he was more or less confirming that the PRC was the actual China, and it was kind of like disenfranchising Taiwan, because at that time Taiwan and the PRC were in dispute about who was actually China. That's kind of where this move with Taiwan being further and further sidelined got to, and even right now, China is always making moves on Taiwan as far as their naval forces go, and of course, the U.S. is right there putting their own show of force back. I remember hearing about it even a couple of months ago. this is just I think this is just more of China's campaign to try to take down Taiwan, and they're ramping it up. They're being more aggressive about it now than they ever have been. But they have always wanted Taiwan back.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd agree with that, definitely.
Well,
But,
their economy is going to collapse, so just got to wait it out. When the smoke clears, maybe we'll get some decent films again.
Not at the rate we're going. Considering the U.S. is so many $1 billion in debt to them right now, I mean, I guess all they'd have to do is just say, "Hey, we'd really like that bet back." You know,
Yep.
they're not going to run out of money anytime soon as long as we're around because we're their biggest customer. We have formed kind of a symbiotic relationship with China. They'll rattle their swords, we'll rattle ours, and ain't nothing going to be done about it because economically our two systems are too intertwined.
No, the upside to that is that it discourages war because you need each other economically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to me, it looks like two silverback gorillas just. But they're never going to deal with me, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
here's the thing. Hollywood may crash, but if you see it from the same point that I have been seeing things out of late, and in the US, this will be tenfold or maybe 20-fold, so think about that. Kids right now have NVIDIA 3080s, 3090s. They are playing with that kind of tech. They are understanding how to do complex animation at early ages. So, yeah, right now everything is crashing, but what will come afterwards, if these kids keep getting this expertise and keep knowing that they can do all this stuff, we are seeing a renaissance on animation, at least in animation. If they get a hold, and trust me, if you use an iPhone, you can actually shoot a movie. They have done that before.
Yeah, well,
You
that's
can-
why Hollywood doesn't like YouTube because we're like the biggest source of free entertainment that people have available to
Oh,
them.
yep. And it's getting wild. It's getting really, really wild. You right now, anime is big on YouTube in a way you don't see normally. If you have seen VTubers, virtual YouTubers, it's animation. It's literally animation. They get this animated character to respond to the face of a person and the voice of a person, and they use that to create a whole fandom. And right now is maybe the biggest way to watch anime on the world. YouTube.
Yeah. Well, to me, Hollywood has always not liked fan-made productions in any case, especially with Star Trek, because it's like we've seen Star Trek fan-made films and things like that that were as good as or superior to actual episodes of Star Trek. And I've seen Star Wars films that were really good too, that were fan-made.
Yeah, and CBS shut down all those, all the Star Trek ones. So
Bastards. Oh, wait. I have something appropriate for that. Excuse me. I've been waiting for this.
Those motherfuckers!
I really thought that was going to be Khan for a moment.
I should do that one.
You gotta get that. Gotta use Shatter.
I should do that one. And in kind of a little bit of a segue to something that's personally important to me and Grim, some of that is extending into the TTRPGs, the tabletop role-playing games industry, because that is another cheap source of entertainment and revenue. And it is being encroached upon by woke scolds and people who want to, it's kind of weird. They preach that they want it opened up to more things, specifically handicapped people and things like that. And we've always been of the opinion it's kind of like, we never closed it to you.
Yeah.
Where are you getting this narrative from?
That's part of the reason I'm more skeptical than Pablo, I think, about the capability of new talent to break out. It's like people who make animations on YouTube aren't doing very well because the algorithm doesn't like it when you're not doing regular uploads. So that's it's killed a lot of the homegrown animation. VTubers is a bit different.
Mm-hmm.
And YouTube gets more restrictive, more restrictive, and more restrictive. All social media just seems to get tighter and tighter and tighter. Most entertainment companies seem to be falling into one or two camps at the moment. Eventually, maybe Disney will own absolutely everything. So, there's not a lot of room to break through there. If you can't get your message out there because of shitty algorithms or restrictions on sites, there's not really a lot of space for anything to bubble up. And even in microcosm, in the tabletop role-playing space, there's only a couple of places you can really sell. A lot of stores have shuttered, just as they have in the comics industry. So if you don't toe the line, or you don't create your own sort of parallel industry, which is hard to get eyeballs on, you're basically kind of stuffed. So,
and I hate to segue way off into this because this wasn't something I was wanting to talk about today necessarily, but and I'm not shitting on anybody who enjoys this. So, nobody out there take this as me, shitting on your enjoyment of anything personally. I would not do that to you. But the rise of Critical Role, the series, I like the concept, but the slick production values, the fact that everybody on there is a professional actor, obviously the professional lighting, camera work, and everything else has kind of presented a very unrealistic depiction of what your typical role play session looks like.
Yeah.
And, I think it's kind of built up a false image, a false narrative of what you can expect or what you should expect from a typical D&D game. I don't know.
Felicia Day was a trap. Felicia Day was a Trojan horse. It's to her that the pop culture got infected with wokeness.
Yeah, sadly. And where is she now?
She disappeared after fucking up everything.
The last time I saw her, she was on MST3K on Netflix, and I haven't seen her again.
Thankfully.
God, I hated that new MST3K.
Really? I thought it was okay, but it wasn't the old stuff for sure.
Oh man, I remember there was a time before all that has happened when you saw these cute girls coming to conventions and getting into everything, and you thought, okay, maybe we are more popular than we thought. Then you will see them getting a lot of money from men and disappear. And you knew that it was a scam. Nerds were the target. They know we are a bunch of virgins that never had any contact with any woman whatsoever, and they take pride on drying us of money.
Hey, Grim is happily married.
Oh, I have a son, but you know what I mean. They prey on desperation. They prey on male desperation. And Felicia Day did exactly that. She was the cute girl, and everything was perfect until she decided that she needed an out. She was not about role-playing. She was not about video games. She was not about anything. She didn't care.
I think that's a little unfair, but enough people meet what you're saying that it has created suspicion in a lot of people. It's made things less open. That's the thing about all these attempts to open things up. I think they've actually done the opposite a lot of the time.
Yep. It is the Pokemon effect.
Well, I've definitely seen a rise in gatekeeping, definitely.
Yeah.
Gatekeeping, and then there's also the fake geek culture. The normie, the jock kind of. I went and saw the Avengers in the theater, so I'm an official.
Yeah, the Uwu, Uwu crowd.
Yeah,
actually,
I bought a Captain America shirt at Walmart, so I'm a geek now.
Yeah, Grim actually he posted that on Twitter the other day, and I thought that was great. Where he called out somebody for their D&D, their Wizards of the Coast purchases, saying they were lifestyle purchasers, and I got what he was saying instantly, and that is these people are picking this stuff up because it's trendy, it's hip, and it just
I'm a nerd, girlfriend. No, you are not.
But
This
is kind of what we wanted, though. That's the thing that's the bummer of it, I think, is that we always wanted the stuff to be more popular. We wanted to be accepted. And we've kind of got that, but also a bunch of people have moved in saying, oh, this is really cool, but we're going to move the couch over there. We're going to put another window through that wall. What you've got here is great, but we're going to change everything.
The thing is that we didn't get what we wanted. We wanted people to see how amazing this was. It was, at least. And they came, and yes, they are consuming the product, but they never saw what we saw. They never saw how amazing all of this was, so they don't appreciate it. They don't care.
I think what it is we wanted them to share our culture, not fucking take it over.
They hijacked it. Yep.
Yes.
We were the Incas and they were the Spaniards, and we know how it ends.
Hey, I take that personally. God damn it, my ancestors were Aztecs and Spaniards.
My ancestors were Incas, and you.
Okay. YouTube boxing match, you guys, right there. Going back to our first conversation, see what I did there?
I love that. That's why I have you. Ash, you've been real quiet. I mean, I know you're not big on the role playing thing, so I want to hear what you have to say about this.
Well, I want to get into it. I do play ARPG games. I play a lot of them. I think they're quite fun. And I've heard a lot of people speak about D&D and like tabletop role playing games. I mean, I know next to nothing about tabletop role playing games. It is something that I would be interested in playing. So yeah, I've never played tabletop games, but I'd want to get into it. I don't know where to start in tabletop games, and like I don't really have like many people readily available to say, yo, hey guys, come on, let's play some D&D, or and like even if I did start playing, I wouldn't know the first thing or what to do. So yeah,
it's just let's pretend with rules.
Pretty much.
I'll sort you out as long as you're willing to get naked. Not really.
Grim, let's let Esh's first exposure to D&D be tabletopless.
No.
You want to talk about creating a false expectation? Shit.
There's an open source. There's an open source RPG project, so you can get the boards and you can get the some of the figurines and the rule set and everything, and you can expand from that. And it's kind of old school D&D.
Yeah, old school D&D is still pretty accessible. Pathfinder is accessible. All the older systems that have more or less either gone out of print or anything are readily available again. A lot of them with free rules, so you can always get in that way. But
there's a D&D game on Steam, and there's like D&D Online. Are they similar to regular D&D, or are they?
Nah,
in name
really.
only.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But no, more seriously, if you do want to try it out, we can set up a stream game somewhere.
Here we go. Right there, Grim. Right there. He wants to see a D&D stream with us all. Okay, so we're gonna have to make that happen now that we have time, and we definitely are going to be talking more TTRPG stuff coming very soon. Grim's schedule permitting. My schedule is open again.
That also sounds like a sandwich.
TTRPG.
See what I did? I brought it all the way back to. Never mind.
There you go. Would you like a TTRPG on mayo or with mayo or
I
rye?
need some bacon on there. Just as long as there's bacon, I'm good.
Okay.
Okay.
TTRPG BLT.
That's it.
So, pig-nosed orcs. Got it.
Pig-nosed orcs. Oh man, I forgot the pig-nosed orcs. I still remember when kobolds were dog-faced. I really do. I do like the new little draconic kobolds better. But that's just
T-shirt. I think we're losing them. Better change subject.
Oh, okay. Sorry. we're going way too far down the nerd hole. All right, let's bring us back to nerdom real quick. Kylock had a really good question early on. He wanted to know what our favorite anime or favorite manga was. I'll go first. That one's an easy one for me. I've said it more than once. Fist of the North Star, because that was a progenitor manga and anime for a lot of other series that came out. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Berserk,
Fullmetal Alchemist.
Yeah, to an extent, you could say Dragon Ball Z, but they kind of came out about the same time, so I don't know if I would say that. But yeah, Fist of the North Star, definitely my favorite, followed by Berserk very, very closely. Grim?
Escaflowne, I really liked.
Oh, that was a good one.
Fantasy Mecha one. The manga and the series are very, very different, though. Very different experiences. Yeah, but I like both. Or a Goblin Slayer, though.
Yeah.
Though I keep accidentally buying the light novels that I'm not interested in because all the listings on Amazon are shit.
Yes. You don't know how disappointed I was when I got Vampire Hunter D novels and found out, oh, they're actual fucking novels. They're not manga.
Yeah.
I definitely would like to talk some more Goblin Slayer because that's a series that definitely needs to get more eyeballs on it, although maybe for the worst possible reasons. Ash, what about you?
I don't really read any manga, but my favorite anime of all time is Tokyo Ghoul. I love that anime. I've watched all 4 seasons many times. I haven't watched the film, the spin-off films yet. I still need to watch those, but that's my favorite anime. I mean, recently I have Pablo, you'll be interested in knowing that I've finished watching all of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and oh my god, I was nearly in tears by the end of that show. That was such a good show as well.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, oh my god. And then Demon Slayer was pretty good. I watched that. I need to watch the film. It's coming to Netflix soon. Winry.
Yep.
Yeah. Demon Slayer was pretty good, and also that the Dota Dragon's Blood that Rob My Burnett worked on, and which is on Netflix. That was actually really good as well. But I'd say for me, Tokyo Ghoul tops it off.
All right, so Pablo.
Okay, so I will. Let me. It's difficult because my first one will be either Full Metal Alchemist or Lucky Star. But Lucky Star is kind of difficult to explain. You know, there's a category of anime manga that is about cute girls doing cute things.
You know about lollies?
Yeah, but this one is about a really, really weird otaku girl. And she sounds like an old perverted man. Okay, so that's kind of the joke, and it's a pink anime, is cute, and is so amazingly... Damn it! How do I... It's not perverted, but it's kind of borderline there. It's all about her being an asshole with everyone. So that will be one. Full Metal Alchemist will be... there are 2. Scryte. That's an anime that I will recommend to Ash all the time. Scryte, watch Scryte. Okami to Koshinryu, that's Spice and Wolf on America.
He asked for your top favorite, not all of them.
Oh, sorry. I love
Jesus,
anime.
Pablo.
What can I say?
I know you do.
He's a full-blown weeb.
Well, I mean, he's in good company. I've said it more than once. I was a weeb before weeb was actually a thing. Keith, how about you? Do you even read manga or anime?
I do not. I know I'm unpopular here. No, I do not. Although I do have one that was gifted to me from Edson on our channel. It's on the shelf. I don't remember what the name is. I will read it eventually because he gifted it to me, but and he stands by it, and I love his opinions on things. But no, I don't really watch anime. So everything Pablo listed, he can cover for me on that too. How's
There you
that?
go.
Thanks, Pablo. Pick me up.
Burp, how about you?
I am going to have to join Keith in the corner of shame and say that I've never read any manga.
Oh no.
For shame.
It's been recommended.
Shame.
I think I should probably dabble in.
Do we have to go to like a re-education camp now?
It seems like it. I think so.
Oh well, I do recommend you guys at least give it a try at least once just to see what you're missing. Especially if you do want to get the kind of the old comic book feel back, because I mean, first off, you usually get a really good story, and it doesn't matter what the manga is about. I've joked more than once, as you know, a Japanese creator could take a story about a guy making toast, turn it into an anime or a manga, and it would be fucking awesome. It would be the best toast manga you ever read in your entire life, because they love to tell stories.
I've been looking.
There's a bread making anime, so
you shitting me?
kind of nope.
I fucking was kidding.
And there's that House Husband one, which is pretty close to.
Okay, there's an anime that is awesome. It's about there's this demon lord on another dimension that has conquered almost all the dimension, and there's this final fight between the demon lord and the heroes of justice trying to reconquer, and he loses. So he flees from that dimension to ours. But in our dimension, he has no magic. So he decides to conquer the world getting money by being an employee at McDonald's. It's called The Devil is a Part-Timer. It's amazing.
Okay, that does sound fun. Jesus Christ, man.
And Valkyrie, if you like knights and you like honor and good fighting, Knights of the Zodiac or Saint Seiya. Okay. But watch it as Saint Seiya. It's an amazing series. It's bloody. It's from the 80s to 90s. So it's bloody, it's uncensored, it's dramatic, has amazing fights. Everybody's one-upping everyone. And it's based on Greek mythology. But they go to Norse mythology in the second season, by the way. So,
or just watch Berserk and see what you've been missing out on, especially since there's not going to be any more coming out anytime soon.
Oh, yeah.
Bad.
It is definitely one that's been recommended to me.
Read the manga before you watch the shows. That's all I'm going to say, because the manga is way better. Yep. And the artwork is gorgeous, too. I mean, you know, you remember what artists actually used to look like whenever they would draw, and it was like, it came from the heart and it looked awesome? Keith, you remember those days? Those days in comic books?
I do. I know, I got to say, and I know art's subjective, and I don't like to criticize people's art because what's art to some is not, but lately the Marvel and DC standard has fallen quite a bit. I mean,
yes.
Come on. You didn't like, I'm Not Starfire? Come on.
Oh, no, I love that.
I'm sharing... You're dead. I'm sharing my screen. Yep, there you go.
That's
Kentaro Miura.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's Kentaro Miura. That's not Berserk, though, is it?
It is.
Is it? Okay, I haven't seen that issue yet.
So
I'm
yeah,
kind of woefully behind.
Oh, you have the manga was almost ending. I don't want to spoil anything, but it was ending.
Okay, well don't spoil it.
Yeah,
because I have a way to go. I'm buying the deluxe editions, which are the big thick collected volumes, because they're really nice. So I don't have like heaps and heaps and heaps of little tankobon editions all over the place.
I'm guessing the Miura estate will get a lot of money.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Perp, look, you have a admirer.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you, Six. It's always good to see you.
Strangely enough, Grimm never gets that kind of attention. So. Although people do compliment his beard all the time.
Yeah. Without my beard, I am nothing.
Committed a faux pas and not commended Grim on his beard, so that is a magnificent beard, Grim.
Thank you. I borrowed it from a badger.
Mine used to be
spirit gum.
No, mine used to be two-tone like that. It was like one side was actually turning white, the other side was staying black. But here lately, I think it's mostly turned.
Like split down the middle, half and half. One side black, one side white.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, it's like one side of my face got older than the other, I guess. I don't know.
Okay, how old do you think I am?
You're about 35.
Yeah, close enough. Extremely enough, I look younger than most people in Ecuador. I have no idea why. If you are here on 35, you actually look like 40 on the US or 50 in Europe. So,
What? What are you trying to say? People in
seriously.
People in Europe moisturize.
Moist?
What? In Britain, we get no choice. It rains all the fucking time.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're always moist.
Okay, this is Kylock sent me this on Twitter. This is from Kaiju8, I think. Wow, it does look pretty good.
Cool. That's cool.
It looks amazing.
It does. I'm not normally a really big, super duper big kaiju guy myself. But that's a cool thing about manga is the fact that there's so much of it and it's got so much of variety. It doesn't matter what you're into. I guarantee you somebody has made a manga about it. I mean, I remember when I was over in Japan, just picking up their weekly manga series, and they had a manga about a guy who was a white guy learning how to become a sushi chef in Japan. I mean,
There's
seriously.
mangas about board games.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yep, about Go, about shogi, even about chess. So,
Isn't that Rule 34? Not exactly, but all right. Well,
people need to learn the rules of the internet. The other day we had one. Okay, in the community, one girl decides to pay tribute to Harambe, and everybody loses their mind. So she gets her dick out, and everybody's what? And
okay.
if you had read the rules of the internet, every woman is a man and every child is an FBI agent. Memorize that. Memorize the whole rules of the internet. Will save your life.
So I imagine they're kind of like. But
pretty much.
All right. Well, we've gone 2 hours. I mean, we could stop at this point, or we can keep going if everybody's enjoying the conversation. I think Perp's having more fun than she thought she was, because she was like, I can stay for an hour, and I was like, look, we're up to 2 now. We're going over 2.
Well,
are you British guys about to fall asleep there?
It's Grim's badger beard that got everyone in.
Well, I am nodding and yawning a lot, so I think I'm gonna exit the stage left.
All right. Okay.
But it's been fun as always, and I'll probably be back next week.
Oh well, great. And
to you, Grim, you're awesome, man.
Yeah.
Oh, hush.
Yes, and now that I have some more time, we're gonna have to look at some more regular timed TTRPG talks. Probably on a time that's more agreeable with you.
That would be amazing.
Okay, well, you let me know what schedule is good for you, man. We're gonna make it happen, because the first thing we got to talk about is those goddamn clerics.
Bards are worse. Anyway, see you all later. Ciao.
Take care, Graham.
See ya.
Night.
And I'm being a poor host because I'm not plugging his channel, and I really need to. Let me dig that up real quick. Are you other folks? Are you guys okay with continuing, or are you getting kind of tired? Are you wanting to stop? It's up to you.
I'll go
Okay.
to make some dinner actually. So
Okay, so
yeah,
you're
sorry about that, man.
bowing out.
Uh,
No, it's understandable, man. Real life is real thing. Pablo, make sure you plug your channel. Fine.
My channel is Geek Tropology, and there's also Midnight Edge Español, where I host with Pauli and Diego. So let's, if you like Spanish, we kinda obviously is Midnight Edge Español. But anyway, that
Well,
will be
your own channel is actually pretty impressive, dude. I was checking it out the other day, and I'm like, holy shit, Pablo has a lot of content on there.
Oh yeah, but I'm still learning. Give me time. One day I'll make something really, really fun. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for the invitation, man.
one day
It is
Pablo will
great
become
seeing.
the Ecuadorian PewDiePie.
I don't think so. I'm not blunt enough to become PewDiePie.
That's why I said the Ecuadorian PewDiePie.
No, trust me. In Ecuador, PewDiePie is big because of his face and, well, he's blonde and ladies like blonde guys here, so he's kind of big. Damn it.
I think a lot of ladies like blonde guys everywhere.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. It's like men and redheads. It just happens.
Point. All right, Pablo.
So anyway, see you around, everyone.
Good to see you, Pablo.
Take care.
Have a good one, man.
All right. And Perp, you're needing to get out, so that's cool.
Probably do another 10-15 minutes, and then I'm gonna have to say goodnight, unfortunately.
No, I understand, and it's fine. We usually do stop after the 2-hour mark, but sometimes if the guests are really having a good time, we'll forge on for a little bit longer.
I could do another 10-15 hours.
Yeah, well, I can't. I have to go to work in the morning.
Less than I do. It's amazing.
Well, real quick, I guess we can look at the top 10 most anticipated summer movies real quick. These are in no particular order. These come from, I guess it's Fandango. Let's see. They're one of their first ones that they're talking about is, of course, the most hotly anticipated one is Black Widow.
Is it?
Oh God.
Apparently.
It's gonna be one of those summers.
Yeah. Well, I do want to see it, but shit,
No, I do
man.
too, but
It's like they waited too long for that.
They waited
Should have been
way
done
too
8 years
long.
ago. Yeah.
Like
I don't know the cinemas were closed. That was nice.
Yeah. If Black Widow came out around phase 1, it would have fit so well within everything else, and I think it would have made $1 billion easily.
They should have released it right after Iron Man 2.
Correct.
Yes.
Or even the first Avengers movie.
Yeah. Around that time, it would have made so. I think now, because they waited so long, I think for so long we've asked for a Black Widow film. I think the interest has sort of died down for it, and now they're saying, "Oh, look, we have a Black Widow film now." But I think it might just be too little, too late, really.
Especially with the character being dead, like her face.
Yes.
So it's a prequel film, and it's like, all they can really do with prequels is usually screw up the canon. So have at it.
Yeah. Let's see. Number 2 is A Quiet Place Part 2.
I actually I want to see that, sort of like $5 Tuesday, sort of.
I've heard good things about it, but
I mean, the first one was meh. I expected them to be meh, but entertaining at least. But
Cruella apparently was hyped up, and I'm not sure why. Everything I've heard about it is a complete fucking joke.
My 9-year-old doesn't even want to see that, and that's the target audience. So she looked at it. We were actually at the City Walk at Universal Studios last weekend, and she saw the big poster, and she goes, "Is that more Disney trubbish?" That's what she calls it, trubbish.
Trubbish.
Yeah. I said, "Yeah, that's exactly what that is."
Smart girl. Yeah.
Yeah, she's something else.
Let's see. Next one is Suicide Squad.
You'll like this
2.
too. She actually came up with a saying. I'm trying to remember how it goes. Crap! I gotta ask her how it goes. She made it up too. It was like, crap! I don't remember. Something about Disney taking your property. I gotta ask her how it goes again. It's brilliant. Yeah.
Suicide Squad 2.
I'm interested in that.
Yeah, I want to see it.
That's this summer.
I think so.
That feels awfully quick.
10 most anticipated summer films, and they've got it on the list.
Doesn't that seem quick?
Kind of. Well, we've been waiting so long, and they've been showing
Release
the
date 30th of July 2021. So yeah, this summer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm excited. I really want to see it. How about y'all?
Yeah, it's got a
I'm
Guardians feel to it because of James Gunn. Yeah.
It's going to be kind of switch your brain off entertainment.
Yeah. I love the lines coming out of it though. So far, I'm hoping they're not showing us all the funniest shit in just the trailers.
I think there's a lot of deep cuts for OG comic fans as well, because the big starfish enemy in the film, like when R&B came on our channel, he lit up like a Christmas tree talking about this starfish creature, and was like,
Starro.
yeah, that's the one. And I was like, damn, they must have really gone deep cut comics for this. But whether it's just that specific character and not everything else remains to be seen.
Yeah. Next is F9, of course. I'm
down for that. I love sports cars. I love fast cars, sports cars. So that's really like the main reason I'm seeing it. And plus, it'll be like a cool action flick. But
do you even drive?
Yeah, I've been driving for 3 years.
Okay, I wasn't sure. I'm not meaning that as an insult. I mean, but it's the UK, and I had a friend growing up lived in the UK.
Drive on the right side of the road.
Yeah, I know. But he told me, he said he never even learned how to drive because public transport over there was so good.
It's shit. It's not good. I don't know who you've been talking to, but right now it's shit.
Okay then. I've been lied to all this time. Oh my gosh. Okay, next is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I'm gonna watch it because it's a Marvel movie. Because
Yeah.
Am I excited about it?
I'm in it for the whole MCU thing.
Yeah.
Because as you guys know, MCU has been literally half my life. So I'd be interested to see what Phase 4 has to offer. But early opinions of it, I think it's just Marvel's attempt at a Chinese fight film that hasn't gone down so well, even in China. So, which is, I'm guessing, their target audience. And I'm pretty sure, I think we spoke about it the other week, it got banned in China as well.
Yeah.
Because of the connection to Fu Manchu.
Among other things.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks to me like kind of like a Crouching Tiger kind of knockoff, with the wire work and stuff. I'm like, I'll watch it, probably $5 Tuesday watch, but
it really feels like it was. It really doesn't feel like a Marvel movie to me. It looks so separated from the Marvel universe. I'm curious how they're going to pull it in.
Well, you saw what Kevin Feige said, right?
Yeah.
About characters like that, like that are so unknown to most people that they could do whatever they want with them. So they're not even going to really honor the comic source material. They're just going to make it whatever they want. So
yeah, that's how we got the Eternals and all those problems.
Right.
I think it was like a quote unquote virtue signal of this film being made, but also to try and rectify the fan opinion of the Mandarin, because obviously we all know when the Mandarin first came out, like the people that know the comics know that the Mandarin is one of Iron Man's greatest villains.
Yeah.
And then when Iron Man 3 came out, the Mandarin was basically just reduced to a joke. And now they're trying to push the story where the real Mandarin is going to come up. You drag my name through the mud, and I'm going to get you, kind of thing. And like the whole point of the 10 rings, I'm going to be honest, I don't really know about Shang-Chi and the Mandarin or the rings of power that they have there. Is it like a Green Lantern type deal with like magical rings in that sense, or do you need to? Can you only use one, or do you need to have all 10 to be like powerful?
Well, each ring I think will individually does something different. Having all 10 of them gives you a whole bunch of powers, according
It's
to
like
the
the
comics.
Infinity Stones concept, with like
kinda.
the power, time, space, and all that.
Yeah, but not to that extent and power.
Oh yeah, but like I'm about the concept of each specific thing doing a different thing, like controlling a different element or whatever.
Yeah. Perp, what do you think about it?
To be honest, it was not one on my radar. And like you were saying, it's the way that Phase 4 has gone, it's very kind of, it's multi-dimensions, very kind of out there. I don't see how this particular film fits in with the rest of the slate that they've got lined up. It seems very kind of, they didn't really know what to do with it. They've just kind of put it out there and hope for the best. But I can wait until it's on some streaming service, to be honest, to watch it.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. Let's see. Next up on the list, I don't care about this one at all because I've never watched a single show in the series. It's The Conjuring. The Devil Made Me Do It.
Yeah.
Nope, I don't do horror.
Nope.
I love
Okay.
horror, but another franchise that I think is getting a bit long in the tooth.
Yeah, I was gonna say, whenever you go 3, 4, 5 movies into a horror franchise, it just seems to be overstaying its welcome.
Yeah, I mean, I like horror, but most of the horror I enjoy is the older horror, like Lucio Fulci films and George Romero and that kind of stuff. This is
Hammer.
the new
Hammer films are great.
Yeah.
Those old Hammer
I've
horror.
seen Scary Movie 2.
That doesn't count.
Count that as horror.
No, that does not count. Nice try though. This next one, I'll be honest. These last 4, I don't care about at all. I won't see any of these. But for completionist's sake, the next one is The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard.
Who? Huh? What?
Yeah, it's a sequel to the
That
Hitman's
was
Bodyguard.
Denzel Washington and Whitney Houston or something, or
something like that.
Jeez. You okay?
Wasn't that like part of like a whole string of series of films like The Bodyguard and The Hitman's Bodyguard and the Hitman's now it's the Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, and it's gonna be like the Hitman's Wife's Dog's Child Sister's Twice Removed Bodyguard, something
Your
like that.
grandfather's father's
former
wife's
roommate.
bodyguard. Yeah.
No. I think it was the grandfather's father's sister's father's bodyguard.
Oh god.
On your uncle's side. Yeah.
On the uncle's side, yeah.
Sounds like a pass
Right
from this
removed.
panel. This next one is going to really excite you. I bet Keith's daughter is going to want to see this one really bad. Space Jam: A New Legacy.
Oh my god. With the biggest phony on the planet, LeBron James. Yeah, no. Hard pass.
Yeah, hard pass. I mean, Michael Jordan could pull him in for the first one, but LeBron can't carry Michael Jordan.
If Michael Jordan was in this sequel, I'd go see it.
Yeah, I would too.
I'm not giving LeBron a dime. So.
Not for me. No Pepe Le Pew, no money.
There you go. Ash?
I'll watch it.
Really?
Yeah, why not? I mean, it'd be like the Looney Tunes for me, really. I don't really care much for sports or sports personalities or anything like that. But,
Ash, I love you, man. You're gonna take one for me. Go ahead. You fall on that grenade for me, sir.
Okay.
Well, that's going to be on Hobo Max, right? So that's free.
Yeah.
You have Hobo
that's
Max.
true.
I'd probably watch it for free at home, but I'm not going to go to the theater for it.
Hell no. And the last one, I have trepidation about this one. Hotel Transylvania Transformania.
It's going to be like the Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard situation all over again.
I like the first Hotel Transylvania was cute though.
I agree. I like the first 2 actually. The one on the cruise ship I didn't like.
Yeah, and this is just they're just milking the franchise at this point.
Yeah, they're doing what they did with the Shrek films.
Yep.
Ugh.
I remember
Yeah, first two of
Shrek
those were
2. I loved Shrek 2, and then I went to see Shrek 3. I fell asleep. It was so bad.
Yeah, I saw the first two, and I never got beyond that.
You don't have to. Stop
Okay.
it, too. Yeah.
I haven't seen any of the Hotel Transylvania films. So
Well, the first one's worth a watch because it's fun.
I
Okay.
agree.
I'll,
It is. If
look
you like
into that.
the old Universal monsters, it's kind of a fun spoof of that.
Okay.
Ash just probably never seen any of the Universal monsters. He's never watched horror films.
Yeah.
Yeah, which plays
Again, I've seen Scary Movie 2, but you guys don't seem that's a horror film.
No.
I mean, scary is in the name, so.
Well,
yeah.
that said, if you go back and watch those 1930s and 40s Universal monsters films, they're not scary in the least. They're funny now because they
Fair
just don't
enough.
play anymore. But they're classics. And I love them.
You could watch the Abbott and Costello meets Frankenstein and
Those are
those sort of films.
Yeah,
I'd enjoy those.
Are these the kind of films in the era of like there's like it's all black and white and there's a guy holding a knife and there's a woman just screaming and then it just cuts to black or something like that?
Yeah.
Well, sometimes those are more effective than the modern day ones with all the CGI blood and all that other bullshit. Because the film you're referencing specifically is Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, and that was a goddamn good movie.
We were
I
just
didn't know that
talking
was an
about
actual
today.
film. I thought I was just naming something.
We had a
No.
family function today, and my brother and I were talking about Psycho and how it's so genius because you never actually see the murders. You hear the sound. You see the knife, you hear the sound. It's all up to your imagination, what your brain processes. It's a psychological trip, that movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's brilliant.
It is. And it's done without all the gory effects. Now, I do love gore, special effects, and that kind of thing because, I grew up on 80s horror, and, The Thing would not be The Thing without all the gory effects. And that is still my favorite horror movie of all time. Ash, we got to get you to see that at least once.
God, that's such
Ash,
a
you
good
haven't
film.
What's that, Ferb?
That's such a good film. Love The Thing.
That's your homework, Ash. You got to go see that. You got to see it.
You got to see The Thing.
Yeah.
I have so much work to this point. I literally have like over half a century of pop culture to catch up on.
Yes,
And that
did
was. Sorry, go ahead.
I've seen some stuff from back in the day. Like I've watched the odd Carry On film when it come on TV, and those are great. I haven't seen Back to the Future. I know I'm going to get a lot of shit for that, but I still haven't seen it. Yeah, your eyes just literally just lit up. Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah. To be honest, even quite a few people my age have seen it. I'm just like, what are this? But yeah.
Well, that
I've
was
seen
our
the
top
original
10.
Indiana Jones. I mean, I know a lot of people give Indiana Jones 4 a lot of rap for it because of the whole Crystal Skull and all that stuff. But like, I loved that film. Like I was infatuated with the concept of the Crystal Skull. I looked around it, looked at documentary. The Crystal Skulls were actually real things. But like the whole aliens, like being an alien thing, was an interesting concept. Of the Crystal Skull actually being like the skull of an alien from like way back in the day. And then I don't know if Indiana Jones 5 is going to be a sequel to that, of the aliens coming back or something, because I know we've heard that there's going to be aliens involved somehow, but I don't know to what extent.
You talking about the new one?
Yeah, Indiana Jones 5.
Oh,
I've heard stuff that is going to be like space themed or something to do with space and aliens.
It's going to be set in the 60s, right? And then he's going to get sidelined, I'm sure.
Yeah.
We'll find out. Did I see? You're going to review The Thing?
Is this guy going to be the new Indiana Jones? If it's going to have aliens in?
There you go.
He's going to go down the ancient aliens route, and then it's all going to be aliens.
Yeah, Geek Time. I've been chomping at this bone for a long time now, and now I have time to do it. I'm gonna try to get Gary, and I'm definitely getting Grim. and we're going to talk about The Thing, the Carpenter's version of The Thing. And if you want in on that too, man, you come get.
I'd love to be in on that.
All right, yeah, we'll do it. And just to give you a little preview, one of my big things with The Thing is, you ever read At the Mountains of Madness by H.P. Lovecraft?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Yep, big Lovecraft fan.
Okay. So then you're probably in the same camp too.
Yes, I think I know where you're going with this. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because if you read At the Mountains of Madness, you will see so much of John Carpenter's The Thing in it, and it's cool.
I think he actually brought that up. Did you get the Shout Factory 2-disc Blu-ray?
Yeah, I did.
There's like a documentary on there with John Carpenter, and he might mention that in there that he borrowed from that.
I'll have to go back and look at it again.
Yeah, I will too. Now that you said that, it's like, wait, I've heard this before. Yeah.
But you definitely should read it. It's a novella. It's not very long, and it's freely accessible online.
Right.
All you gotta do is just look for it, and
I'll do that.
It's worth it. It is so worth it. Even if you never read another Lovecraft story in your life, read At the Mountains of Madness.
Well, the story of The Thing itself is also a short story, right? It's like who goes there?
Who goes there? Yeah.
Who goes there? Yeah.
I'm just looking at images of the original The Thing film, and it looks interesting. I mean, weird ass monsters. Wait, are there spiders in it?
Kind.
Well,
sort of.
Nope, I'm out.
Well, not.
It's not technically a spider, but it's almost like a crab.
Yeah, kind of. Sort of.
Hard to describe. Yeah,
it is hard to describe. I don't want to. Yeah, because we ruin. It's like one of the biggest surprises in the film. So if we give it away,
yeah.
Okay.
We would ruin it for you. You just have to put your big boy pants on and gird yourself and just sit down and watch it.
When's this thing stream going to be?
Through because the best line in the movie goes with it.
Yes.
Oh, okay. When's this thing stream going to be? Because if I can watch it in time, I'll watch it. I'll watch The Thing for the first time and give my first impressions.
Okay. I haven't put together a time yet. I've got to work out some details with Grimm because I'm going to be doing some more stuff with him for sure now that I have some more free time. And I'm going to try to schedule it earlier in the day so that we're considerate of our UK guests. If that's cool. Silence.
Nice.
And Perp, you're welcome to come along to talk about The Thing also. Evidently you're a big fan and you're on the same tracks that I am. So
I do. I'd love The Thing, both John Carpenter's and the Thing for Another World.
I have not seen the original.
Mm-hmm.
So
wait, there's two versions of it?
Yeah.
The 1950s, Howard Hawk version it's a little different. I mean, it's basically the same story, but it's...
Oh boy, I'm going to have to watch it twice then.
Well,
just
like the spiders, oh dear.
Well, I can definitely tell you that the old one, the 50s one, doesn't have any spiders in it at all whatsoever of any kind.
Yeah, the alien's more of a humanoid. It's like a typical 50s monster. Just a guy who looks like a person,
Like a carrot person.
Yeah, he's like...
I don't know how else to describe him.
Just a big... It was James Arness. He was like 7 feet tall, so they just made him look kind of alien, but he's a guy.
Which thing are you going to be talking about? The one from 50s or the Carpenter one?
We're going to talk about the Carpenter one.
Okay. All right.
Because to me, that's the definitive Thing movie.
Oh.
Right.
One of the best movies ever made. So good.
Yeah. It is pretty much, it consistently is always, if anybody ever asks me, what's your favorite horror film t-shirt? And I'm going to say, The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing. No questions asked, no bullshit. Straight up, it's always going to be The Thing.
It's The Thing or Jaws. They're both. I mean, I love Jaws. Jaws is probably my favorite film, but
Jaws is a really damn good movie too.
Yeah.
And we may talk about that too.
Not anymore.
That's the problem with Hollywood nowadays. They're trying to make all those films again, and they're fucking it up.
Yeah.
But all right, guys, we're up to 2 hours and a half. I'm sure the British panelists are very tired, and
Halloween is a good one. Halloween's another good one. Yep. Carpenter.
we got so many good 80s and 70s films. Man, we're gonna be this is gonna be a regular feature, I'm thinking. But for the meantime, let's go ahead and close out the show, guys. I've really loved having y'all on. Thank you very much for agreeing to be on tonight and paneling with me. And thank you so much for your input. I love what everybody brings to the table. You guys always have a standing invitation for me to join anytime you want. Just ask.
Oh, this is brilliant. Thank you. Thank you so much for asking. And Geek Time TV, pleasure to meet you. Ash, always good to see you, honey.
Nice
You
to
too.
meet you, Purple, officially.
And Ash, make sure you, well, actually say Geek Time, make sure you plug your channel too. And I'm going to put Ash's in here for him.
We just did that at the same time.
Okay, cool. Ash gets
We'll
double
put
the
Ash's in
views.
there.
Yeah.
All right. And thank you very much to our audience out there. Love seeing y'all. Kylox, good seeing you again and again. Six, it is great seeing you. And we had Zax, good seeing you. Terry, we had Tim a little bit earlier. Brett Cohen, I'm sorry I didn't say hello to you earlier. Thank you very much for being here. And all of our other chat fans out there, thank you very much for being with us this week. And we will hopefully see you next week.
Night, guys.
See ya.
Bye.